Why is anime obsessed with manipulators? Because there's something captivating about the ones who move in silence, the ones quietly pulling the strings. Because the most dangerous character in anime isn't necessarily the strongest one, but the one shaping everything behind the scenes. And the unsettling part is not that we don't fear them, it's that we're drawn to them anyway. This is Blessed Anime Hot Takes, and today we're breaking down why manipulation has become the real power in anime. In recent years, there's been a clear shift. The rise of the nonchalant protagonist, and in extension of that, the rise of manipulators, since they both carry the same aura and detached presence, the Sigma personality trait. Why? Because they're calm, unreadable, always composed, and they changed the game. Because we as fans got tired of the overly forgiving protagonist, the indecisive protagonist, the one who stumbles into success, or the opposite, the loud, overly positive main character who wins because they believed hard enough. Everything worked out because they're the main character. But manipulators are different. When they win, they earn it through planning, foresight, and execution. No luck, no shortcuts, just raw ability, and that's something we could all respect. These characters stand out because they move differently. They don't get dragged by emotion, they read the room, they read people, and they think ahead. And in anime, that hits harder than brute force. Because anime thrives on tension, mind games, and reveals. And manipulators don't just fight, they engineer situations. They turn conversations into traps, outcomes into inevitabilities. Everything feels deliberate, and that's what makes it refreshing. Because instead of chaos, we're watching someone quietly outplay everyone in the room. At its core, manipulators aren't about being smart, but about command. Command over themselves, emotions, other people, and the direction of events. That's what separates them. They don't just react to situations, they dictate them. They influence how people think, how they move, and how things unfold. And that's a different level of power entirely. Because real dominance starts internally. They don't panic, they don't rush, nor do they fold under pressure. They stay grounded, and from that position, they shape everything around them. That's what they represent. Not just strategy, but discipline. The ability to stay ready when everything and everyone else isn't. And that's why their presence feels heavier than raw strength ever could. Let's be honest, they're also just cold. There's nothing like watching a character stay 5 steps ahead while everyone else thinks they're the ones in charge. And even us as the audience, we're not fully on it. We get fragments, pieces of the plan, just enough to keep us guessing. So now we're locked in too. We're trying to read them and understand them, and trying to predict the next move. It becomes a psychological puzzle, and then when we get the payoff, everything connects, and we either realize how brilliant what they did was, or we realize how completely outplayed we were. And that's just part of the appeal. But this also goes deeper than just being cool. Because what they represent, is composure and control. Being calm under pressure, thinking clearly, moving with intention. That's powerful. These characters show you don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be the strongest. You don't need to dominate physically. Even subtle skills can be the most dangerous. They push a different kind of strength. The kind built on awareness, understanding, and precision. And that resonates. Because in stories where most characters are overwhelmed, these characters, they never look lost. They're fully in control. So anime didn't just start using manipulators randomly. It simply evolved. It shifted away from visible dominance to invisible influence. Because strength is obvious, but manipulation is subtle. Strength reacts, manipulation anticipates. Strength clashes in the moment. Manipulation decides the outcome before it even begins. That's the real difference. But anime isn't obsessed with manipulators because they're smart. It's obsessed with them because they represent something deeper. Agency. The ability to move with intent instead of being moved by everything else. And in a world where most people feel reactive, uncertain, that kind of presence feels untouchable. The real reason these characters hit so hard is because they represent something we all wish we had. Composure, direction, and agency. The ability to move first instead of reacting late. So now I'm curious, who do you think is the greatest manipulator in anime? And more importantly, what actually makes them the best? Drop your comments down below, and the most liked one will get a dedicated video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay blessed.